What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today is Saturday, September 23rd, day number 53 inside the Big Brother house. And it's a weird week. There's no HOH, no nominations, no veto, but still a lot of kind of game talking going on. We're going to cover some of the more interesting stuff that happened. We have a little bit more detail on the whole zombies twist. Let's just kind of jump into everything. And we're going to start off with the zombie stuff. We have a little bit more detail. We already knew that they were basically playing two different competitions. There was this first thing that was happening, which we knew was the old seesaw competition, where you have to take balls from one side of this like balance beamed seesaw, put them on the other side, and kind of balance them as you make your way back and forth. And we kind of knew that it was being played in rounds. I didn't 100% understand how that was working, but it's 3 rounds, right? So it's kind of like a best of 3 situation, but also not really. In the first part, they were tied. We knew that from yesterday's update, but the 2 other rounds were played yesterday afternoon and in the morning. Cameron took the lead after the second round. Again, they were originally tied. After that second round, Cameron took the lead, and then the third round was won by Cameron, meaning he has the entire power going into Thursday's, I guess, eviction? It's a weird thing because they're already evicted. They're zombies. One of them's going to be resurrected. We'll see how it is. Cameron gets the power, though. He gets to play or pass that final competition. Cameron's probably going to play it, and it's most likely some sort of puzzle. Think of that puzzle from BB20 with Caitlyn that she couldn't put together. It was like the easiest puzzle in the world, but she just couldn't get it to go together. Possibly something like that. And this is all just kind of what they think, what they're speculating. It also makes a lot of sense that they would do kind of a physical thing and then a mental kind of puzzle competition afterwards as the second part of it. Jared was obviously very upset that he lost, and he was feeling very down about not winning. He did get some comfort, though, obviously from Cirie, but a few others as well, including Blue, who we talked about how they were a little bit on the rough rocks there, but also not so much. And then, like, there's just awkwardness, but they still kind of like, it's a weird dynamic that they have going on right now. But she was, offering him some comfort at that point as well. And I'll say this, Jared, we talked about, still wasn't kind of accepting really any blame for the things and how they went. It was kind of pushing that off onto other people. Has finally maybe started to accept some responsibility. A keyword, some, not all, for the mistakes that he's made in being in the position he is. Again, he's got a long way to go, right? But it is nice to kind of see him take that first step in the right direction of self-awareness. He's not close to being there, but it's good to at least see that, where he's finally starting to make, you know what, all right, I made some mistakes. I probably don't even remember all the mistakes I made, but at least he can say, I made them. Him and Cirie did also blame Izzy for the position they're in, which, again, not really her fault necessarily, I don't think. I think a lot of it was just Jared making mistakes, Izzy making mistakes, Cirie making mistakes. Like, nobody was perfect in this situation. Nobody in the house is perfect. They've all made mistakes in there. So it was just kind of nice to see that a little bit. And again, sometimes it just takes going to that rock bottom, being at your lowest point, to kind of have a little bit of self-reflection and realize, oh, maybe I am doing things wrong, right? And I think that this could be beneficial for Jared. Maybe he can learn something here, but that's to be seen. Cameron, though, he actually went on the offensive. Now that he knows he has kind of his game in his own hands, and that, he will have to win this last part, and if he wins that, he's back in the game. He's starting to make plans on how to move forward. Now, we did talk about how him and Jared had conversations where they were like, look, let's work together with this. Like, whoever goes back, let's make sure they succeed. Jared pretty much told him, just protect Cirie, right? Like, I'll work on Blue for you, but just protect her. And I know a lot of you have your own reasons for why you would want Cameron over Jared or Jared over Cameron. My personal reason why I would rather see Cameron go back in is just I think he would be more entertaining with how he would end up making moves. We've already seen Cameron when he is kind of, got nothing to lose, back against the wall. He's not afraid to make those moves to really get himself out of that situation. And I think he would end up coming back doing something more interesting than just what Jared would end up doing and kind of being with Cirie. I think it would just be more interesting to see Cameron come back. And with that, like I said, he's been making different plans. He actually pitched a final 3 with Jag and Matt, who really actually kind of seemed more interested later on when it was just the 2 of them talking. They were like, actually, do you imagine if the 3 of us work together? Like, we would run this house. But they also still have their doubts, of course, just because of everything that happened. And in fact, they've also kind of talked about a 4-person group and kind of brought Blue into it. And there was kind of a funny moment where Jag had this like moment of realization. He was like, wait a minute. This is basically the Handful Alliance minus the Pinky. And who's the Pinky, you ask? Reilly. So it's basically that Handful Alliance from way back in week number 1, but kind of redone here. The thing is, though, he tells them his plan would be good to go after Felicia and Cory. He thinks that Felicia's been the one spinning a lot of things and making it an issue. Also, he sees Cory as somebody who needs to go as well. And, after last time, I don't trust a word that Cameron's saying. I was fooled into thinking he was just going to put up Jag and Blue, and I'm not falling for it this time. We know that Cameron is fully prepared to just lie through his teeth on what he would actually do and what his plans would be. And I just don't buy that he would accept getting rid of Felicia on his next HOH. I just don't see that as his path forward. I just can't buy that. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he does actually go for Felicia, but I'm not buying into what he's saying. I cannot see Cameron going, yeah, Felicia is the actual one who has to go. I think he would actually probably take the shot at Cory, but even that, not 100% sure at. He would want to get out Jag or Matt. I think he sees them as people that are standing in his way of winning any of those physical competitions, especially Jag, who's beat him in a veto before and has been kind of neck and neck with him for a lot of these competitions. Now, while that's happening, we also have Cameron, who told Cirie, like, hey, pretty much you're my new number 1, right? Like, he wants to stick with her. Like, she's the one that he wants to work with. Again, kind of going off of Jared's like plea that he just protects Cirie. And he was telling her, I want to blow up the other side from the inside. I want to blow them up from in there, right? I want to weasel my way in and be able to kind of take them out. So we'll see how that all kind of plays out. There has been a lot of kind of circular talks, though, around the house. All the game talk really ends up coming down to kind of the same things. Cirie and Jared, they still don't trust them. Blue, though, has been making a lot of efforts to get closer to Cirie. We saw her kind of having chats with her and even filling in Cirie on, hey, Jag's kind of been thinking about going after you. Matt might be able to be pulled over after Jag is gone, but he's somebody we got to worry about, right? So she's trying to kind of set up for that post-Jared world to be able to at least have that connection with Cirie as things move forward. And it was kind of interesting to see her throw Jag kind of under the bus there with her and being like, listen, he's talking about you, so just be careful. With that as well, we also had Jared having interesting talks, like really long talks with Matt and Jags. Jags went over an hour. And it was really all just about clearing the air and also kind of getting info as much as he can, especially to try and figure out whether or not Blue was lying to him as all, especially with Matt. He was like, just be honest with me. And, we'll see how that all really goes. Another kind of interesting thing that came up, and apparently this happened during the double eviction. Jared, Cirie, Felicia, and Mimi pulled Bowie into a room and said, listen, you're the deciding vote to keep Jared. And Bowie's like, oh, really? It kind of ran right to Jag. And Jag's like, Bowie, no. No. So Jag and America actually filled Blue in on that. They were kind of asking, like, how have they been with that? Have they been, being honest with you? And she's like, they kind of dance around it. So just another interesting little note. I'm kind of interested to see how that all plays out on Sunday's episode. Again, I kind of always feel like double evictions, they're two-part episodes, right? You have the actual double eviction itself, and then you have that Sunday episode that follows where it fills in a lot of the gaps of what was happening in the chaos. Plus, we'll get to see the zombies coming in. So I think tomorrow's episode is going to be really entertaining. Other than that, we did get some stuff with Felicia, who finally confronted Cirie on the whole America, Jag, Cory final three thing that Cirie talked to Felicia about, but then went around the house, especially to Blue, trying to say that Felicia was the one who came up and suggested that. But Cirie's just a master of dodging this kind of thing. She was able to kind of just kind of brush it off, kind of blame America a little bit, and just get out of that situation overall. I don't know how much Felicia actually bought that, because we also had Felicia having chats with America where she talked about, like, hey, we should do like a final four. Me, you, Mimi, Cory, the four of us. Like, we can really work together. Again, just trying to cover the bases here. Cory and Felicia ended up having a chat later. He filled her in about basically the Crossroad Alliance, how it was him, Cirie, Jared, and Izzy, and like Felicia was not part of those plans, and they kind of even talked about that. And Cory has his doubts as well. Like, he doesn't know if they really have Felicia on their side, and he thinks like she might really just still be with Jared, Cirie, and all them, which he's not exactly right about, but he's also not exactly wrong about. Like, Felicia is really on team Felicia and Mimi at this point. But she doesn't trust Jared, Cirie. She doesn't trust Cory, America that much. But really, I think her bigger worry are Matt and Jag. Her and Mimi had a little chat, and it was basically a Mimi rant, right? It was a fun little Mimi rant where she's just kind of going off about everyone being silly and having these little side conversations. Last week they were saying they didn't want to work with Cameron. Now Bowie's in there talking to him all the time. And she basically was saying if she won HOH, she would probably take shots at Matt and Jag, break that up because they're going to be so dominant moving forward. And again, there were a lot of like late night chats. We had that 5 group of Matt, Jag, Blue, Cory, and America all staying up late eating some pizza, and then Felicia sees them, and they were kind of joking. They were like, well, great. Tomorrow she's going to be going around saying they got to break us up. They had lots of little chats. Eventually, Cory and America went off to bed. Matt, Jag, and Blue kind of chatted for a while as well, where they were just kind of talking about, things going forward and taking out people that kind of don't deserve to be in jury. Felicia. But I don't think that's really a good plan for them either. They should probably go for someone like, man, I don't even know. You probably take out Cory in America, right? If you're really being smart with this, take out people that are threats to you, right? Like, you've got Cameron, who probably will be coming on back. He might not be best for your game, and you might just want to do that revolving door situation. They've told Cameron about that, where Cory said, like, hey, whoever comes back, you got to get them out. So they're kind of ready to throw Cory under the bus. I just think there's so many interesting little dynamics in this house that it can go complete mess real quick, just like it has for the entirety of this past season. Other than that, though, that really kind of covers everything that happened on the feeds, but I did want to address one other thing. There's lots of people going around saying, like, oh, the show is rigged. They're trying to set it up for Jared and Cirie, which, listen, I hear you for sure. Sometimes things in Big Brother are heavily stacked in the favor of one house guest. Sometimes the diary room can let out a little bit too much information to somebody and kind of steer them in different directions. But a lot of the proof that people are kind of pointing to, especially with this situation, I just don't see it, right? Like, people are trying to say this whole zombie twist was all set up just so Jared can come on back. So let's just kind of think about this logically here. What you're basically saying is this entire twist was set up in the past 2 weeks. They canceled an entire Tuesday veto episode within the past 2 weeks. That's just factually not true. The schedule has been out. We knew this upcoming week would not have a veto competition. I kind of remember thinking about it and be like, oh, that's weird that there's like no episode that week. Oh, I wonder what they're going to do. But then it kind of slipped my mind, and then it was just about like a week ago that I was like, oh yeah, there's no veto episode next week. Like, what are they going to do? So like, this was all planned for a very long time. Also, just with the way the season worked out, we were going to have 2 somewhat canceled evictions or battle backs. Like, people are like, oh, well, it was just to kind of fix the Tom situation. That's why the Jag power happened. I think that was all actually originally planned anyway. I think they were just kind of doing that at the time they wanted to do it. Like, I don't think it was like, oh, we need to hurry up and do this power. I think that was always still a plan. And I just think we gotta realize that, hey, if they really wanted to rig this for Jared and Cirie to have stayed this week during the double, why would they have done a knockout style competition that Cirie basically had no shot to win, when they knew everyone would just be picking her over and over until she got kicked out of the comp? Why would they do that? Why would they not change that HOH up and make it into something that she had a chance? Why would they do a veto competition that she didn't get picked to play in, but even if she did, had no chance of beating someone like Matt or Jag? We've seen them change competitions before. This is not a Rachel hanging from a banana again, Pandora's box bringing back the duo twist. The real ones, you know what I'm talking about. That was clear as day with rigging. This, I think you guys all know, I like to call it like I see it. I don't see it here this week. I think this was all things that were just planned to happen, and people are just a little upset that there's a chance that Jared could come on back. And I think that kind of goes into more of this idea that people are like so angry and toxic about stuff, and they get these big crazy ideas to justify why what's happening isn't okay. And I think part of it is too, is it kind of goes to one of my favorite quotes. It's from this like French novelist, Marcel Peng, what's his name? It's like Marcel Pengalon, something like that. He was a French novelist. Basically, the quote is something along the lines of, the reason people find it so hard to be happy is because they see the past better off than it was, the future worse off than it is, or the present worse off than it is, and the future worse than it will be. So we keep kind of looking back at these old seasons with these rose-colored glasses, thinking how great they were and how perfect they were. They weren't, right? There's so many legends in this game that if they played today, people would cancel them in a heartbeat. They would be like, whoa, this person's terrible, and they would be completely toxic to them when they're absolute legends in this game. Things that people are doing this season, all of them, right? Whether it's Cirie, Jared, Cameron, Cory, America, all of them are doing things that these past Big Brother players have done that people now look down on. And I think we just have to take a step back and relax and go, hey, nobody's perfect. Everything that's happening isn't that big of a deal. We don't have to go and attack people for every little move they make, because we're not perfect either. And I'm not completely guilt-free of this either. I'm not perfect, right? Sometimes I will go a little bit hard on somebody here and there, but I try my best to just kind of be objective about it and you know, keep it fair. And I think it's just something that we need to relax on. I also truly believe this season is one of the best ones we've had in a very, very long time. I think we just kind of have to take a step back and look at it and go, hey, Let's enjoy this wild ride of a season that we've been having. Yeah, there might be some twists that you don't like. What season doesn't have some twists that you don't like? Almost every single one has something along those lines. Another thing that I saw too, and I was just like, I don't understand how people cannot remember what happened on some of these past seasons. And I don't mean this to like call out anybody in particular, right? Like, but someone said, oh, if there was a old season, right, they would have taken out Cirie in a heartbeat because of her experience. That's just factually not true. Look back at every season that has veterans, and what do? They let them stay too long. BB19, did they get rid of Paul? No. BB18, did they get rid of Mecole or any of those veterans earlier? No, they didn't. Josiah tried to. Listen, Josiah the Messiah, he tried. Let's go even further back. BB14, did they get rid of Dan when they had the opportunity? No, he pulled the whole funeral and ended up saved himself. Like, there is BB13. We were just talking about that one. They didn't get them out either. Even BB11 took forever to get Jesse out of the game. There's just no basis of, oh, in the past seasons, they would have taken her out. No. BB2, they didn't take out Will. They should have taken him out. And they had multiple opportunities to, but they never did. I just don't understand where people are go, oh yeah, the past seasons were better. If anything, maybe the past seasons were worse. I just think we look back and we think, oh, these were perfect. But if you really go back and think about it, was it? Was it? And maybe ask yourself, if you're not enjoying this, why are you not enjoying it? Is it really you looking at it and go, this stinks? Or are you letting other people's opinions and thoughts affect your opinions on the game? It is just that, a game. We're supposed to have fun with this. We're supposed to at least get some kind of value from this. If you're not liking this season and you're not liking how things are going, you might not like Big Brother. And I don't want to be like, oh, you don't know what you guys are talking about. It's more of just like, I think we need to just take a step back, relax, and enjoy the show for what it is. A form of entertainment. Let me get off the soapbox though. I know you guys, there's probably half of you are like, Ori, great job, and the other half are like, you idiot. And that's okay. That's okay. But I just think this season's been very good. And I think we need to just soak in and enjoy the moment. Other than that, thank you guys so much again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, whether you agree or not with that little rant, smash that like button, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button if you're new here. I kind of didn't even really mention it much recently, but we went from 7,000 subscribers, hitting that milestone, flying right past that. We're in the 8,000 subscribers already. Just within a week, we flew past that, and we're already on our way to 9K, which still blows my mind that anybody watches this goofy dude on the internet talk about Big Brother. There's a lot of things that I want to kind of do with this channel and continue doing and building more. I know I talked about, you know, potentially doing the Survivor videos, which I might try and do with a little twist on the format to make it a little bit more interesting for some of you who, again, I hear you. I don't think this format really works that well just for a Survivor. I think it works well for Big Brother because there's so much that, you know, you have to keep up on and you can't keep up with everything. So you got me to fill in those gaps. But I think maybe I can do a little something that might be of interest to you guys. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll maybe test it out for at least the first few weeks and see how that traction goes. Also, just tons of big things down the pipeline that we'll see how it all goes. We'll see how it all goes. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out the links in the description down below for all of my socials. The Twitch, Twitter, Discord, Kick. Also, the Discord's been a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying the community that we're building over there. And it's really been kind of just special to watch that grow as well and kind of almost become its own thing. So once again, thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.